guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to this film review on this controversial week. And today we're looking at probably one of the most ultimate controversial films here in the UK. I believe this is 1979's film by Alan Clark called Scum. Now this is the new 88 film release of the film, so let's have a look at the little release of it. Well, let's have a little look at this edition of Scum. This has been released on 88 films. It came out just like a week or so ago. Just let me try and light it a bit better, guys. There we go. Yeah, it came out just not so long ago, about just over a week ago. It came out on 4K and Blu-ray. Now this is the Blu-ray release. I don't feel the need to buy it on 4K. I don't think the transfer is going to be majorly different to this one. So I was quite happy with getting the Blu-ray. So it comes with a slipcase, and it also comes with a sort of hard box with some reversible art on there. Let's pop that there. And this is the release. It's got different sort of covers. Let's take out the film. That's probably the most famous cover, that one. Ray Winston there. It comes with the Blu-ray film. And it comes with a booklet with various sort of photos and essays, and also that's an international poster. So as you can see, once again, it's a very text heavy essay. Great photographs in it. If you can see, there's a lot of essays to read and in this booklet. Really cool. And that's the booklet there. So we'll pop that away. That is the release. I didn't see the point of the hardback book bit case there, just because it didn't come with a poster or anything like that in there, or art cards, but there we go. I suppose it gives them a chance to add a few more pounds to your purchase. So that is the Blu-ray, the new Blu-ray release of Scum. So you can see it's a lovely release of the film. 88 film have done themselves there and done a really cool release on there, so that's really excellent. But is there any special features on there? Let's take a look. So this is the main menu for Scum. Let's have a look at any special features that may be on the disc. We have an audio commentary with Troy Howarth and Eugenio Euriclani. Audio commentary with Kim Newman and Sean Hogan. Back to Borstal, executive producer Don Boyd. Concealing the art editor, Michael Bradsell. That kind of casting director Esther Chalkham. No luxuries, actor Mick Ford. Continuous tension, cinematographer Phil Meaux. An outbreak of acting, actor Ray Bundis. Smashing Windows, actor Perry Benson. Perry's actually a friend of mine. I've known Perry for a long time. Criminal record producer Martin Campbell. Survival Rules OK, a video essay. The X trailer, a U trailer, and image gallery. And they are the special features on Scum. There's loads on there. loads of interviews and things, including one from my dear pal Perry, who's also done an interview on there, who stars in the film. He plays Formby in the film. Anyway, let's get to the story. So this is based on this is the late 70s, early 80s Borstal. Now, if any of you from not from England have done what Borstal is, it's a young, uh, it's a detention centre for like teenagers that are too young for prison, but but are still have done sort of crimes, but they can't go to prison, so they go to these sort of institutes. And back in the day, they were called Borstal. This film has an all English sort of cast. It stars Ray Winston as Carling, and other characters we have in there. We have Archer, who's played by Mick Ford. Davis, who's played by Julian Firth. Banks, who's played by John Bundle. Richard, played by the amazing Phil Daniels, who I happen to have met once, which is fantastic. Woods, played by John Fowler. Eckersley, played by Ray Burdis. And we have, who else have we got in there? Got to try and remember now. Oh yeah, Toyne, played by Herbert Novell. Rhodes, played by George Winter. Angel, played by Alric Riley. We have Bordy, played by Peter Francis. Jackson, played by Philip, what's his surname? DeCosta, that's it. Formby, played by Perry Benson. Meekum, played by Alan Ingborn. Betts, played by Andrew Paul, if I remember right. I'm sure that's his name. James, played by Sean Chapman. Smith by Ozzie Stevens. And Ricky, played by Chambers, played by Ricky Walls. And in the adult cast, if I can remember that one, the governor is played by Peter Howell. Sands is played by John Dudd. Matron is played by Joe Kendall. Goodyear by John Grillo. Greaves by Philip Jackson. Duke by Bill Dean. And Hunt by P.H. Moriarty. I can't remember anyone else in that film, but to be honest, I've done quite well. I did make some notes of the names when I saw them come up, and I knew most of the actors in there. Being a big fan of British cinema, especially of this period, I managed to remember it. Anyway, Carling's been admitted to the prison, Borstal, and he arrives with Angel, who's like this young black lad who's gone there as well. And they find themselves being admitted into this new Borstal. Carling has a reputation. I think in the last place he was, I think he beat up one of the guards, and so they already know who he is. Anyway, it's not long till he comes in, and the local daddy beats him up with his sort of like his henchmen. Well, Richard's played by Phil Daniels, and they beat him up. And all the governors are, well, what's happened to you? You've been in a fight? No, I slipped. Anyway, it's not long till he gets put in detention and stuff like that. We have a guy called Archer, played by Mick Ford, and he's like this. He seems a bit too intelligent to be there and a bit too old to be there, and he's sort of like he's claiming to be a vegetarian, and he sort of like doesn't wear any shoes because they're made of leather and all this. And Carlin, the main character played by Ray Winston, befriends him. They become sort of friends. And it sort of plays out with all these different characters and the different struggles that they go through in Borstal. And we meet some of them and some of their stories, like Perry's character, Forby. He's in there because he killed someone. And it's so random. He plays like a 14-year-old boy or something, and he's already killed someone. And there's so many horrible young hooligans, if you like, in it, but there's some generally nice sort of people there that shouldn't be in there. Carling, well, it's a bit difficult to say because he is the daddy. He turns into the daddy throughout the film and takes control. Whoever the daddy is there takes control of all the sort of the different wings there, sort of stuff like that. So he fights himself, he fights the other leaders, he fights Bordy, who's in charge of the B wing. So he all this sort of thing. So he takes control, and the prison guards let this happen. And they're brutal. The prison guards are absolutely brutal. They're just horrible to everybody in there. They beat them without hesitation, and it's almost like a Turkish prison. And so it must have been horrible. And this was what it was like. This is what Borstal was like. These kids were put in there, and these Borstals were run by bullies, and these bullies weren't there to try and help them rehabilitate. They were there just to get their thrills out of beating them up and stuff like this. And it becomes too much for some of them. One of the characters, Toyney, his wife dies outside and he ends up taking his life. Another young lad gets raped and he ends up taking his life. And all these sort of things go on within this sort of these in the four walls, if you like. And it's a very brutal watch of a film. Let's talk about the characters. So this is amazingly acted, absolutely fantastic. I mean, this was probably one of Ray Winston's. He's a young lad in this one, but he plays the role really well, and it's great to see a very young Mickey Pearce from Only Fools and Horses in there, and also great to see the incredible Phil Daniels, who I adore. He went on to become quite a famous actor in loads of films, Quadrophenia, Vinyl. He's been in loads of films and TV shows, and the same as my old pal Perry Benson. He's been in loads of TV, any gangster or in a British movie, he's in it. He's also been in TV sitcoms and stuff like that. And he's got quite a nice worthy career behind him. And some of these other actors went on to become really famous stars, and it's great to see them in their very young roles. So it's really cool. The acting is fantastic. So to my final verdict, this is an absolute essential watch. It's a 10 out of 10 all day long. Absolutely fantastic film. Is it a horror film? There's horror moments in it. So yes, it is a horror film because it's the horror of being in Borstal in the late 70s, early 80s, and the challenges that these poor lads go through. So it is a form of horror film. Yes, it's a prison film, but these are not in prison. They're in Borstal. These are too young to be in prison. And this shows the brutality that went on in this place. I don't think they're like this anymore. I don't know. I think they're called Young Offender Institutes now. I'm not sure, but I'm not sure. Don't drag them out. But they were horrendously reported about this. There was a big thing on the news in the early 80s about it, or the 70s, which maybe have led to this film being made to show the brutality that was going on in Borstal. But it's such an eye-opening watch. It's brutal, it's depressing, it's absolutely violent. It's so many uncomfortable scenes to watch in this film. There's gore in the film. It's quite gory. There are fights break out. So there's a couple of deaths come out, and there's merciless sort of people on there. There's a rape scene that goes on for quite a while. It's quite a very disturbing and controversial film. And when this film was being made, it was first of all being made by the BBC to go on the television as a TV play, but it was too violent and too depressing and too brutal to make it onto TV. So then it developed into a film and ended up going to the cinema. And it was an absolutely fantastic film. Now, the pluses of the edition of this, It looks great. It's fantastic. It looks amazing. They haven't over colorized it to make it look more modern. That would ruin the film because it's supposed to be bleak. It's supposed to be a bleak looking film because it's a bleak looking storyline with all these poor young lads. Well, they're not, some of them are meant to be there. You know, some are killers, some are rapists, and there are some there that are there because of their violent acts. So a lot of these are there for a reason, but they're there to be rehabilitated. But all they were there was being abused and setting them up for their future to go to prison. Pretty much nearly everyone in this film, you think they're going to go to prison. The only one that probably wouldn't would have been Archer. I think he was the only one that probably would have mended his ways and gone about his own business. And also the young lad that ended up killing himself. But there we go. It's a very hard watch still to this day, and it's still really sort of potent. It hasn't lost anything over time. It's still incredible. It's a great release from 88 film, as you saw in the closer look at the release, and it does have a number of special features, which is absolutely fantastic. And on top of that, it's got sort of like a variant sort of artworks. Let's have a quick look. Where have I put my case? I think Doggy's sitting on it. So it's got different sort of covers. See, look, I'm the daddy now. and it has like all these sort of different, that's the most famous cover, I think on the BFI release of this film they have that, but it's a fantastic release from 88 film, so hats off to them. It's been a while that they've actually released a really cool film, and this is one of them. Scum, 10 out of 10. Any of you guys seen it? If you have, please let me know down below what you think of the film. If you haven't watched it, I endeavour you to watch it. If you don't have to be a horror fan to appreciate this. If you like drama, if you like prison films, if you like films that are controversial and violent, watch this. But if you want to see almost a historical kind of film, it's got historical film about it because this is what it was like then, you know, and it's there. It's there in front of you in history. It was too violent for TV, and that just shows you what the film's like. Thank you so much, guys. Anyway, till my next video, please go and check out some other horror channels. Check out Horror Hands, Horror Geek, Man v Film, RS Design, Pizzawell. I'm Ice Lil, Cat Watches Horror Movies, Grumpy Andrews, Haunted House, The Skin Crawler, and The Maniac. And a massive shout out to my son. Till next time, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I see you all soon.